Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Rawfury Rawcember to Remember 2025 bundle of December 2025. To help me answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have Cathy Rain 2 Soothsayer, an amazing point-and-click adventure game delivering a gorgeous and gritty urban thriller. You step into the shoes of PI Cathy Rain, 3 years after the first game, finding yourself in the fictional American city of Cassidy to solve the case of a serial killer dubbed the Soothsayer. The game immediately pulls you into the investigation with its realistic setting. You'll appreciate the slow burn mystery, starting by researching victims in a local library, using old-school computer catalogs and newspaper archives, a clever puzzle that eases you in while offering optional world building. The presentation is a definitive upgrade. The pixel art is higher resolution, featuring dynamic lighting and surface reflections. Your investigation quickly opens up to multiple locations like murder sites, a university, and a psychiatric institution. The difficulty levels out as the game guides you by restricting areas without leads. You control Cathy with a simple one-click interface. While the inventory system is slightly awkward, the notebook offers helpful objectives to guide your search. You will be talking a lot, engaging with a large, intriguing cast, including your mentor Lucas and former roommate Eileen. The professional voice acting brings the characters and their emotional journeys to life. The dialogue is mature and fits the urban thriller genre. The game balances this with inventory and decoding puzzles, such as recreating specific cigarettes or compiling a haiku. The investigation is smart and rewarding. You feel accomplishment figuring out complex obstacles. The narrative includes supernatural elements, hinted at through Cathy's intense nightmares. This sequel is exactly what fans wanted, offering a captivating story, great puzzles, and stunning presentation that'll keep you glued to the screen. At number 2 we have American Arcadia. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if an entire city was part of a reality TV show? Enter American Arcadia, a puzzle platformer that offers a fresh twist on the concept. Set in the 70s themed ultra-advanced dome city, you play as Trevor, a resident who unknowingly stars in a massive livestream show. The city's utopian facade masks a sinister reality. If Trevor's ratings drop, he's expendable. The game brilliantly combines 2.5D platforming with 3D stealth sections, immersing you in Trevor's desperate escape. Guided by Angela, a resistance member, you must navigate through various locales, from themed bars to hidden unpolished sections behind the scenes. The gameplay involves not only traditional platforming, but also remote hacking via Angela to bypass security systems. Trevor's journey is packed with twists and turns, keeping you on your toes. The game's art design, reminiscent of Wes Anderson, adds a stylish flair, making the experience visually captivating. However, some platforming sections can be unforgiving, leading to repeated attempts that may test your patience. Angela's segments provide a narrative counterpoint, offering backstory and more intricate puzzles. While her stealth missions add depth, they sometimes feel less engaging and can be frustrating, especially when dealing with overcomplicated puzzles. Despite minor annoyances, American Arcadia excels in storytelling. Its layered narrative peels back the history and workings of the city, from its idyllic beginnings to its current state. The game's humor and twists, some predictable and others delightfully surprising, enhance the experience. In the end, you root for Trevor and Angela, especially Trevor, whose only crime is not fitting the influencer mold. American Arcadia is a witty, well-made dramedy that cleverly critiques modern reality TV and social media, while delivering a thrilling and stylish gameplay experience. At number 3 we have SKALD, Against the Black Priory, a retro-inspired dark fantasy RPG that feels like stepping into a time machine to the Commodore 64 era, but with the polish and depth of modern gaming. It's a top-down turn-based adventure where you build and guide a party through an eerie world dripping with Lovecraftian horror. From the moment you start creating your character, you're hit with the depth of customization. Your choices, class, skills, and lore familiarity impact everything from combat performance to how you navigate the game's branching narrative. The game thrives on player agency, letting you decide whether to talk your way out of trouble or take a more violent approach. The dice roll mechanics and dialogue trees channel classic RPG vibes, blending nostalgia with meaningful choices. Combat is grid-based and intuitive, offering strategic options. However, you may find yourself leaning heavily on physical strikes, with the more intricate spells and skills taking a back seat. Repetition in battles occasionally dampens the excitement, but the variety of monsters and rich tactical setup keep things engaging overall. The narrative is where SKALD truly shines, pulling you into a fishing village, unraveling under sinister forces. The story is layered with eldritch twists and atmospheric storytelling, enhanced by pixel art and nostalgic Commodore 64-inspired mode. While its challenge and heavy reliance on text may feel daunting to some, fans of classic CRPGs will adore its faithful homage to the genre. With its compelling world, rich lore, and retro-modern aesthetic, SKALD is a must-play for RPG enthusiasts. At number 4 we have Cathy Rain, a traditional point-and-click adventure that immerses you in the mysterious world of a young journalism student investigating her grandfather's enigmatic last years. Set in the mid-90s and built in the AGS engine, the game delivers a nostalgic experience with a modern twist. You play as Cathy, a disillusioned 20-something who is drawn back to her small hometown after her estranged grandfather's death. What begins as a simple visit to his funeral quickly spirals into a deeper investigation as you uncover layers of secrets hidden in the town. The narrative keeps you guessing, never fully revealing its hand until it's necessary. The gameplay is rooted in classic adventure mechanics. You'll gather items, solve puzzles, and engage in a lot of dialogue. The puzzles are fair and rewarding, though they lean on the easier side, allowing you to focus more on the story. However, the pacing slows in the second half, with a lot of backtracking and conversations that can feel tedious due to the slow movement speed. Despite these flaws, Cathy Rain shines through its well-written script and excellent voice acting. Cathy herself is a standout character, complex, relatable, and compelling. The game's mature themes are handled with care, adding depth to the experience. While the ending could have offered more closure, Cathy Rain provides a gripping adventure that keeps you engaged until the very end. It is a journey worth taking for any fan of narrative-driven games. At number 5 we have Bad North, Jotunn Edition, a Viking-themed tile-based real-time strategy game that successfully marries cute presentation with dire roguelike consequences. You're tasked with defending small square islands and the cottages dotted around them from waves of Viking invaders using up to 4 units. The gameplay is simple, almost leaning toward a puzzler, as the real key to survival is successfully shuffling units to create choke points and counter various enemy types. Do not be fooled by the soft sound effects and adorable sprites. This game is harsh. It lures you in with breezy opening missions, but quickly escalates the challenge with frequent waves and new foes, crushing your progress because of one bad decision. Your units diminish with each fight, requiring you to send them to a cottage to replenish. Making the wrong call on when to rest units will cost you dearly, and losing all of your units sends you right back to the start of the campaign. This harsh punishment feels odd, with a gentle presentation, making troop movements feel like playing with toys in a peaceful haven. Between battles, you manage a randomly generated campaign map where you apply upgrades and choose the next island to tackle. You use rewards from surviving cottages to specialize units into pikemen or archers, and pick special abilities. The campaign map demands careful planning, as choosing the wrong island or upgrade is final. There are no do-overs. If you can stomach the severe consequences for failure, Bad North is a highly compelling and fun alternative to more complex strategy games, perfect for short, intense bursts of tactical mayhem. The constant desire to restart despite crushing setbacks speaks volumes about its compelling nature. At number 6 we have Call of the Sea, a first-person puzzle adventure game. The game is set on a mysterious island in the 1930s and follows the story of a woman named Nora as she searches for her missing husband. The game's art style is beautiful with vibrant colors and detailed environments that create a sense of wonder and intrigue. You play as Nora, exploring the island and solving puzzles to uncover the secrets of the island and the disappearance of your husband. The puzzles range from simple logic puzzles to more complex challenges that require players to pay close attention to their surroundings and make use of Nora's abilities. One of the game's strengths is its narrative, which is woven into the gameplay and puzzles. As players progress through the island and solve puzzles, they uncover more about Nora's backstory and the mysterious history of the island itself. The game's pacing is excellent, with each new puzzle or discovery adding to the overall sense of mystery and intrigue. Call of the Sea also features a diverse cast of characters, with Nora being a well-developed and likable protagonist. The voice acting is top-notch, with each character's performance adding depth and nuance to their respective roles. The game's main drawback is its relatively short length. With only 6 to 8 hours of gameplay, some players may find that the game's puzzles are not challenging enough, or the narrative ends too abruptly.
However, the game's pacing and story makes up for its brevity, creating a memorable and engaging experience. The game's puzzles are well designed, and the narrative is captivating, making it a game that is easy to recommend to fans of puzzle adventure games. In conclusion, Call of the Sea is a beautifully crafted puzzle adventure game with a compelling narrative and engaging gameplay. If you're a fan of puzzle adventure games or simply looking for an immersive and well-crafted narrative experience, Call of the Sea is definitely worth checking out.
At number 7 we have Atomicrops Deluxe Edition. A deliriously colorful twin-stick roguelite that throws you into a radioactive wasteland to grow crops by day and blast mutant wildlife by night. This is not your usual farming sim. You won't be cozying up with livestock so much as mowing down killer rabbits with vegetable-powered rifles. You play through 5 seasonal cycles, each of frantic 2-minute stretches to gather seeds, slay enemies, and fertilize your plot, literally with blood. As night falls, you'll defend your harvest from waves of armed critters while juggling turret placement, watering, and maybe even wooing a grasshopper spouse. Survive all 4 seasons, and you'll face a chaotic final boss in Nuclear Winter. Runs are tough, and you only take a few hits before it's over. There's little in the way of permanent progression, just a few minor upgrades from rescued ants and unlockable characters. But that's the point. Atomicrops challenges you to adapt, experiment, and get better. The true rewards come from absurd item synergies, shotguns that fire squirrels, watering cans that generate bulletproof bubbles, and friends like a worm of mysterious purpose, or a cow that waters your plants. Sure, the dating and simulation elements are more like decorative mulch than meaningful mechanics, and yes, the learning curve is steep. But if you stick with it, you'll find that Atomicrops is a wild, gleefully unhinged arcade farming nightmare with a heart as radioactive as it is rewarding. If you're after comfort crops, look elsewhere. But if you want chaos in your compost, this is your jam. The Deluxe Edition includes the full game, soundtrack, Reap What You Crow, and dearly beloved DLC, giving you max content right from the jump. You dive into an insane roguelite, where you must farm mutated crops by day and defend your plot from post-apocalyptic beasts by night. You get awesome new runs with Orega Crow, utilizing new weapons like the Scythe, complete with a sick horse mount, and the Leech Gun. This package makes the frantic farming and fighting loop way deeper, challenging you to become the ultimate nuclear homesteader. It will be an instant classic. At number 8 we have
Sable, a visually stunning indie adventure game. The game's unique art style, inspired by comic book artist Mobius, creates a breathtaking open-world exploration experience that is both immersive and captivating. Players take on the role of Sable, a young girl on a journey of self-discovery in a mysterious desert world. The game is about exploration, with players free to roam around the vast and beautiful world, discovering secrets and meeting different characters along the way. One of the most notable features of Sable is its music. The atmospheric and ethereal soundtrack fits perfectly with the game's visuals, creating a sense of wonder and tranquility that immerses players in the game's world. The game's mechanics are simple, with players using a glider to traverse the open world and completing quests for different characters. The gliding mechanics are smooth and responsive, making traversal a joy. There's a strong emphasis on puzzle solving, with players using their wits and abilities to solve various challenges scattered throughout the world. The story is minimalistic, with players piecing together the narrative through the different characters that they meet and the world around them. The focus is on the experience of exploration and the emotions it evokes, rather than a traditional narrative structure. One of the game's minor drawbacks is that it can feel somewhat repetitive at times, with players completing similar quests and challenges throughout the game. The open world can also feel somewhat sparse with a lack of variety in the environment and areas to explore. Sable is a relatively short game, with a main story that can be completed in around 8 to 10 hours. However, replayability comes from its open world and the ability to discover new secrets and areas each time players revisit the game. In conclusion, Sable is an impressive indie adventure game that is sure to captivate players with its breathtaking visuals, immersive music, and sense of wonder. If you're a fan of exploration games or are looking for a game that evokes a sense of tranquility and wonder, Sable is definitely worth checking out. At number 9 we have Regions of Ruin, a massive 2D pixelated RPG with strategic platforming and city building elements, often compared to Kingdom with deeper mechanics. You play as a dwarf, tasked with cleansing a land overrun by orcs, goblins, and liches, aiming to rebuild your fallen kingdom and reclaim ancestral glory after the dwarves were driven from their mountain homes. Initially, you might find the controls a bit funky, blending WASD movement with arrow key attacks, but you'll adapt to this tactical platformer style. Rushing into battle will get you killed. You must use your shield, dash, and positioning wisely. A cool feature is the stealth mechanic, which uses layered bobbing motion behind trees and structures,
allowing you to snipe enemies with throwing axes, a tactic that might feel cheap but is highly effective against large groups or powerful foes. Your journey is not just about combat. You must build your base from a simple campfire, constructing forges, taverns, and apothecary tents. Upgrading these structures is crucial, offering better resources and letting you hire adventurers. These followers form a personal army that stays with you, though their AI can be a little buggy. The difficulty can spike depending on where you explore, but you can overcome challenges through better gear, planning, and recruiting more followers. The game's real charm is in its depth. The more you play and invest in both your combat skills and your base, the better the experience becomes. This blend of exploration, fast travel, kingdom management, and challenging 2D action ensures you'll have a blast. At number 10 we have
Townscaper, a sandbox city builder game. If you're missing the time for your childhood when your town wasn't invaded by tourists, this game might just help slightly ease your woes. Townscaper isn't so much of a game, but more of a virtual toy. Think of it as a Lego set for building picturesque cobbled villages. There aren't any complicated traffic, power, or infrastructure management, just simply building and destroying with a click of a button. In addition, the grid that you're building the town on is not the regular flatland sort. The grid is a wonky, winding sprawl that will organically lead your buildings into all kinds of crooked angles and quirky street layouts that define seaside towns. Tiles will smartly adapt to what's placed around them. Stairs form between levels, rooftops become streets, archways forming where towers intersect each other, and so forth. There's no formal unlock system, but learning what kind of interactions create different kinds of architecture is rewarding. In addition, the plop effect of placing a tile is quite therapeutic. The world that you're building feels lived in, even if you don't see its inhabitants walking around. There'll be washing lines propped up between buildings, lights flickering on and off, and even flocks of seagulls flying around and perching onto rooftops. While Townscapers may not have the complexity of city skyline, it does offer the homely feel as opposed to a bustling city that may stress some folks out. It would have been great if there was a first-person view for you to explore the town that you've just built, but at least this game allows you to export your town as a 3D model for you to 3D print if you want.
At number 11 we have Tails Noir, a graphic adventure game that immediately captivates you with its fantastic atmosphere, blending gorgeous pixel art with modern 3D visuals like reflections and raindrops. Set in a dystopian anthropomorphic version of Vancouver, you step into the long raincoat of Howard Lotor, a cynical raccoon private investigator. You're hired for a simple case that quickly escalates when you stumble upon a murder, unraveling a vast conspiracy reaching the highest ranks of society. The stunning art design is a highlight. As you explore districts like Granville and Gastown, every location feels distinct and packed with detail, making the city a vibrant, if bleak character itself. The narrative setup is equally strong. The game effectively uses animal species, kinds, as a stand-in for racial and class discrimination, where apes are the ruling elite and certain kinds are restricted from positions like science. Everything builds towards exposing this corruption and exploring the forbidden wasteland beyond the giant wall. However, the plot's momentum begins to fall apart in the final hour. The story abruptly ends without resolving the major issues it introduced. You don't get the answers you seek, nor does the status quo of the dystopian society change, leaving a certain character's fate ambiguous. This abrupt conclusion is the game's main flaw. Your gameplay primarily consists of talking to people. Outside of a few basic stealth moments and a single puzzle, you look around and chat people up. The dialogue is well written and full of hilariously snarky lines, which you will enjoy selecting. Unfortunately, most of your dialogue choices do not impact the core linear plot, only the immediate response you receive. While the jazzy soundtrack perfectly reinforces the noir atmosphere, the story's brevity, around 5 to 7 hours, combined with the dissatisfying inconclusive ending, means you'll likely finish it wanting more. You should be prepared for this abrupt conclusion if you decide to play. At number 12 we have Tails Noir, Preludes, a deeply intimate branching narrative prequel to the original Backbone, set in a post-apocalyptic Vancouver populated by anthropomorphic animals. This game focuses heavily on character and dialogue, deliberately shedding traditional adventure mechanics to explore the human condition through the lives of figures like the raccoon investigator Howard, the fox reporter Renee, the bear gangster Clarissa, and the scientist Eli. Unlike most narrative games, Tails Noir Preludes presents you with clear diagrams of the story's tree-like structure, highlighting pivotal decisions. Although you know where the protagonist must eventually end up, as established in Backbone, the soulful storytelling and a wealth of small, relatable details make the journey completely intriguing. You dive into the crucial events that molded these characters: Howard's student photography days, Renee's start in reporting,
Clarissa's 20-year ascent in the family business, and Eli's isolated research work, giving you the context for their struggles. The experience is slow-paced and nearly puzzle-free, with objectives usually revolving around gathering information and engaging in conversation. The melancholy ambience is masterfully reinforced by gorgeous pixel art, showcasing diverse, detailed side-scrolling locations and a moody soundtrack featuring down-tempo doom jazz. You make choices throughout, picking one of the 3 traits, like cunning or ambitious for Clarissa, that open subtle, alternate dialogue avenues. The key is that your decision don't change what happens, but how and why it occurs, impacting relationships and cementing character traits over the years. A single 4-act playthrough takes about 4 hours, but the game is highly replayable. After completion, you can view the full map of decision points, tempting you to revisit segments and explore different paths. For all its sci-fi trappings, Tails Noir Preludes excels as a beautiful, mournful study of everyday struggles, making it a compelling experience for you if you value nuanced conversations and heartfelt character development over action or complex puzzles. And number 13 we have Friends vs. Friends Deluxe Edition, a refreshing online PvP game that manages to captivate players with its addictive gameplay, unique deck-building elements, and fast-paced matches. The game's premise is straightforward. Friends purchase cursed trading cards that can transform into weapons, leading to chaotic death matches. While the storyline is minimal, the diverse and charming cast of anthropomorphic animals adds depth to the characters. Each character comes with unique skills and buffs, making the gameplay enjoyable and engaging. The core gameplay revolves around 90s-style FPS deathmatches, available in 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 modes. However, Friends vs. Friends introduces a deck-building mechanic, where you construct a deck of cards with various effects, such as different weapons, speed boosts, and unconventional abilities. This card system adds depth to the matches and encourages strategic thinking. Choosing when to play certain cards or combining them for more powerful combos becomes a vital part of the game. The brilliance of Friends vs. Friends lies in its fast-paced, action-packed matches. The gameplay encourages constant movement, and the maps offer just the right balance of cover and obstacles. Rounds are short, lasting only a few minutes, allowing players to dive into match after match, resulting in a highly addictive experience. Unlocking additional characters and booster packs through experience points adds a sense of progression to the game. Friends vs. Friends continues to evolve with planned updates, including more maps, characters, and cards. Some minor issues like map availability in bot matches and lingering fire damage counters need addressing. The game's evolving nature means that there is room for improvement and expansion. Despite these minor issues, Friends vs. Friends excels in delivering a nostalgic yet modernized FPS experience. Its 90s-inspired aesthetics, colorful low-poly style, and catchy soundtrack create a captivating atmosphere that pays homage to classic deathmatch shooters. Friends vs. Friends is a delightful PvP shooter that offers a quick, fun, and addictive experience. Whether playing with friends or engaging in casual matches with strangers, it provides a blast of entertainment that keeps you coming back for more. The Deluxe Edition includes the base game, soundtrack, and the Nerdvarna, Wired Rex, and El Pelicano DLCs, giving you a massive roster of characters and cards. This is a slick PvP deck-building FPS where you battle friends using a deck of power-up cards, creating chaotic, fast-paced duels. You unlock new characters, each with unique abilities, and acquire cards that turn matches completely upside down. You should dive into this colorful mayhem for endless technical fun. At number 14 we have Pizza Possum, a fast-paced arcade-style stealth game where you, as a ravenous possum or raccoon in co-op, embark on a chaotic quest to devour everything in sight and steal the crown from Bella Chonky. The gameplay is a blend of light stealth, frantic food hoarding, and comedic mayhem as you dodge dog guards, chow down on stolen treats, and outsmart your pursuers. You start with a simple goal: eat Bella Chonky's pizza. Along the way, you'll scarf down oranges, spaghetti, and everything edible while avoiding canine enforcers. The core mechanic revolves around sneaking past guards, hiding in bushes, and racing to gobble up enough food to unlock keys to new areas. Each region ramps up the challenge, with increasingly complex guard patrols and tighter spaces to navigate. Despite its stealth elements, Pizza Possum prioritizes chaotic fun over precision. Getting caught is inevitable, but checkpoints keep the frustration minimal, and each failure nudges you towards progression by unlocking helpful items. The game is refreshingly accessible, balancing simplicity with enough variety to keep things interesting.
Clocking in at 1 to 2 hours for a basic playthrough, Pizza Possum is a bite-sized experience. For completionists, aiming to snag all 3 crowns and maximize chaos, the runtime might stretch to about 4 hours. Its short length and modest complexity will leave you wanting more, but the sheer hilarity and charm make it worthwhile. With its quirky premise and engaging simplicity, Pizza Possum is a delightful arcade romp. Just don't expect it to last beyond a bite-sized gaming session. At number 15 we have Blueprints, an utterly unique and addictive indie adventure that defies easy classification, brilliantly weaving together elements of puzzle, strategy, roguelite, and narrative exploration. You play as Simon, who inherits Mount Holly Mansion and must find the elusive Room 46. Crucially, your progress resets every day, but you keep the vital knowledge gained about the mansion and its secrets. Each in-game day begins blankly, requiring you to strategically build the mansion layout by drafting room tiles. You select one of 3 randomly drawn rooms, each with specific benefits like resources or features, and place it on a 45-space blueprint, lining up doorways to ensure a path. You must be mindful of your daily steps, or moves, and resources like keys and gems are essential for drafting rooms or overcoming locked doors and chests. This loop, wake up, draft rooms, collect items, solve puzzles, exhaust steps, and start over, is immensely satisfying. The key to success is not necessarily reaching Room 46 on a single run, but gaining knowledge. Like a Metroidvania, any day where you learn something new about the mansion's secrets is a good day, and that knowledge is carried into future attempts. This concept of permanent knowledge acquisition, rather than permanent material progress, makes the failures feel less frustrating. New layers of complexity continually emerge, including pairing rooms for added effects, color categories, and crafting tools. There are always countless secrets and side mysteries, like following family treachery hints or investigating odd statues, that you can pursue separate from the main goal. The beautiful cel-shaded environments and smart atmospheric soundtrack perfectly punctuate the loneliness and the thrill of discovery. Blueprints is a creatively ambitious, complex, and emotionally touching game that you owe it to yourself to experience. Please note that this bundle gives you a 30% off coupon as opposed to the game itself. At number 16 we have Ballionaire, a unique roguelike that brilliantly combines the permadeath and build creation of the genre with the sheer randomness of a pachinko machine. The goal of each run is simple: drop a set number of balls into a peg-filled machine to reach a specific money goal. You don't control the ball's trajectory. Physics determines its score, making luck a significant factor. Your control comes entirely from the pegs you strategically add. The game introduces various peg types, demonstrating how to create effective scoring machines using everything from teleporters that send balls back to the top, to advanced elemental combinations. You can hit a cloud with a water ball to spawn a storm of water balls, or use a campfire to create flaming balls that benefit certain pegs, enabling intricate, high-scoring combos. An absolute standout is the food system. By collecting base food items like bread and cheese and landing them in a pan peg, you can cook a new pizza peg that scores dollars on every hit. Alternatively, a ball full of food dropped into a mouth peg grants huge cash bonuses. Setting up the perfect peg pyramid for these combos feels incredible, although acquiring the necessary pegs requires some luck. After each ball drop, you choose one of 3 new pegs to add, with limited rerolls. Since you fill the board up quickly, balancing peg placement and using your limited ability to destroy non-optimal pegs is a key strategic puzzle. Furthermore, beating score goals grants permanent passive buffs that often define successful builds, such as restarting the first ball carrying food that falls off the table. While the reliance on luck and the non-intuitive scoring potential of certain pegs might frustrate some players, the satisfying feeling of building a clever board that leaves you rolling in cash makes the dozens of initial losses absolutely worth it. Please note that this bundle gives you a 45% off coupon as opposed to the game itself. At number 17 we have Cassette Beasts, an indie RPG that channels Pokemon nostalgia, but with a twist. Instead of capturing creatures with Pokeballs, you use cassette tapes to record them. This game is aimed at fans who grew up with Red and Blue, but are now older and want something quirky with a touch of adult humor. Set in a vibrant world of 3D backgrounds and pixel art sprites, you battle using 120 unique monsters, like a traffic cone-wielding crab or a bullet-themed creature. The twist is that battles revolve around transforming and fusing monsters, where strategic type interactions cause chain reactions. For example, Fire melts plastic into poison, adding a layer of depth that feels both familiar and new. Battles are typically 2-on-2, with you and a companion who can also transform and fuse with monsters. The game shines with its humor, from jokes about capitalism to villains resembling landlords, preying on the poor. It is full of nostalgic references, like using a pencil to rewind your creature, which will resonate with those who remember actual cassette tapes. However, as you progress, the initial charm fades. Despite its innovative mechanics, the game's battles can become repetitive, and the leveling system lacks incentive to keep capturing new creatures once your team is set. Ultimately, while Cassette Beasts delivers a fun, nostalgic experience with a unique twist, it struggles to surpass its Pokemon roots. It is more of a delightful remix than a genre evolution. Please note that this bundle gives you a 60% off coupon, as opposed to the game itself. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is straight up value, no cap. While we're all about snagging games and not just paying for coupons, this collection delivers the goods. It is a solid good game for your backlog, letting you score major wins without draining your wallet. Seriously, smash that purchase button before this deal goes dark. Time to stack those achievements and keep the Humble People community thriving. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.